Okay, 3, 2, 1. Take 37. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome along to the SCE Live Podcast. My name is Sam, and as always, it wouldn't be a SCE Live Podcast. How many times have we done this, Chris? Take 37. It's Chris Barnes, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey! I can't cope with you tonight. I seriously can't cope.
We had the jokes, Chris. You're wearing double denim, like, seriously.
Look, I'm double denimed up tonight, and you know what I mean?
We've done this joke 5 times. It's ridiculous. Ladies and gentlemen, our podcast guest for this evening, Miss Victoria Jones.
Hello, thanks for having me on tonight.
You know what? I'm so sorry, Vicky. Like, this is the 3rd time we tried to film this podcast. The first time, it was a mistake on my end. Second time is a mistake on my end because I said your name wrong. And this time, it's just, we're going for it now. Any mistakes we make, we make. I don't care.
I can't quite. Well, he's had a busy day. We'll let him off. He's had a busy day. Working hard in LMA.
Oh, do you know what? It's one of them jobs. It's copy and pasting and making sure everything's right and ticking names off. And I've come home tonight. I've had spag bol with garlic bread. I'm all full. I just need me bed now, to be honest. I'm just going to maybe sit back, relax, and enjoy this conversation with you two. And I'll just be more of a listener than a participator, let's say.
You're just technical support
Literally,
tonight.
That's what I am.
Well,
that's what I am.
What you need is we need a guest and an interviewer in double denim. There we go. We're sorted.
Sorted. Well, I mean, listen, Chris, you've been the rock of this podcast the last couple of weeks, especially with the guests that we've had on. It's been a busy couple of weeks, hasn't it, Chris? It's
been an amazing few weeks. So much traction and a few endorsements from different people. We've been added to a list of a new podcast website as well.
Yes, Explore Liverpool, haven't we?
Yes, Explore Liverpool have added us to their list of podcasts. So we're up with like the Anfield Wrap, stuff like that, which is great.
Exactly.
It's exciting.
It's exciting stuff. And I mean, to think, I always say, beginning of lockdown, we didn't think we'd come this far, did we?
Well, we thought, let's do 2 and see how we get on. What week are we on now?
40-something.
Wow.
But, Vicky, take us back to the beginning of lockdown for yourself. It's a shock to everyone's system, but being a singer and a tribute artist, I mean, what's going through your head?
Oh, I had a total meltdown. I was like...
Like me at the beginning of this podcast, take 1.
So, like saying, is that it? The industry's finished? Is that how you thought?
No, I had a million thoughts really, but I thought, yeah, maybe we'll be back in the summer. And then the summer didn't happen. And then it was like, everyone was saying Christmas. And, you know, people want to be going back out for Christmas. We'll be celebrating. We'll be back with our families. Yeah. And then that didn't happen. So I feel like we're all on the edge of our seats now. Just like, come on, is it ever going to happen? Are we ever going to be back?
Yeah, it's tough because we've done a few shows together and we've seen each other in backstage and it's always a good laugh. And that's what I miss.
Yeah.
Most. When we bump each other at shows and we see, and we're having a bit of a crack before we go on, and then you see us like that before we go on, and I miss all that.
And obviously me calling you by the wrong name as well, you know.
Well, yeah.
Anyway.
He calls me by the wrong name every frigging week. Well, in fact, he calls me some certain name.
Yeah.
Computer illiterate is one of the things he calls me.
Double denim and computer illiterate now.
Double denim's got a stick now. Or just Jimmy Corkle. Call him Jimmy.
Did he have a dog, Jimmy Corkle?
A little black dog.
Did he have a dog? I can't remember.
Yeah.
We'll have to get on to... Cracker! Is it Cracker? I need a cracker. Sam, we'll set that up for next week.
I'll write that down. I'll write it down.
Get a cracker. So, Vic, what have you been up to then in lockdown? What did you do in the first lockdown?
I went for lots of walks.
Nice.
But do you know what? I mean, I know for personally, my mental health wasn't the best. And I knew everybody else was feeling the same. We were just like, what is going on? So I set up a mental health choir. It was all Zoom. Yeah, because I thought I'm feeling it and I know everybody else is. And I know if I'm having the worst day, as soon as I get on stage and I have a sing along, I have a good sing, belt out a few songs, like my mood is just lifted instantly. And I know that singing is fantastic to lift your mood, release the feel-good endorphins, improves your posture. You're probably wondering why I'm not 5'8". So I need to sing a bit more to get a bit more leggy. But it is fantastic for your mental health, singing. And as well as you were saying, you know, chatting backstage, it's great to socialise together. And as well, they say, if you sing together in a choir, all your heartbeats sync together. So it gives you a sense of being as one and feeling like a community. So it's amazing for your mental health. So last year I was working for Merseycare, the NHS, and Sefton Council as well. So we set up choirs for them. And because it was all via Zoom, no one else can hear you sing. So if you think you're the worst singer in the world, you don't have to worry because no one else can hear you. And you can just belt out a bit of Kylie, a bit of Cilla, whoever you feel like. And you just...
I might join. It might be my moment, Sam.
Not in them double denim jeans.
No. No, but Sam, you know, you're in the choir. Do you get the same buzz?
Absolutely. I mean, there is a certain feel of singing by yourself and being in control of an audience, but singing with other people and seeing, you know, those people enjoying themselves just as much as I do. And of course, the thrill of, you know, harmonies and the complicity of singing together as well. And having that sense of community as well. That's what the LMA choir is all about. We did rehearse, but when we have a chance to have a Zoom call here and there, and obviously I work with a couple of them as well, so obviously seeing them on a regular basis is amazing. It's more than just the singing aspect. It's the idea of seeing each other, or at least through Zoom or through Skype or whatever we can use. But that sense of heartbeat, I feel that absolutely when we sing and when we connect with an audience as well. So I 100% feel it.
What's the kind of age range in your choir?
At the moment, I'm working with a couple of community centres. So I've got a youth one, which is kind of like 5-6-year-olds up until teens. And then the adult one, they get the kids involved as well. So it's just to all ages, really. And, you know, there's a lot of Beatles songs.
Hey!
I know, we've got to get them in. I'm a huge fan of the 60s, as you all know, and I hope going forward I'm going to see Chris in a little 60s swing dress.
Well,
forget about the double denim, get the mini skirt.
See, you've said it now. You've said it now, so he's got to do it.
Hey, I've dressed up in all sorts. In my look at my Eurovision escapades, Sam, when I was in lederhosens and all sorts.
Can you still fit in there, Chris?
I can fit in it great. I did dry January and no chocolate January, so
done well there.
I fit in.
Did you have any New Year's resolutions, Vicky? Any New Year's resolutions?
Well, I think if you haven't done it in the lockdown, you're never going to do it, are you? You know what I mean? We had a whole year of doing nothing last year.
True.
Yeah, so no, not really.
So when you're obviously doing these Zoom choir rehearsals, you just explain for the people at home. Obviously, it's difficult because of the delay in Zoom. So you're saying that everyone's turned off, as in they're not muted. So it's more of a case of just singing with the track.
That's it. So it's very difficult via Zoom because you can't hear each other's voice. So I wouldn't say it was like 6-part harmony, like the LMA choir is phenomenal. We're not up to that standard yet, but it's all about just singing and belting out songs, and that's what is the best thing for your mental health. And also, research has shown, I mean, I'm not a doctor, but research has shown that even if you've had COVID and you're suffering with your breathing now, singing's fantastic to get your breathing going. And it's great just to calm you down as well, because if you're getting really stressed up, you're taking short, shallow breaths. But if you're singing, you're regulating your breathing, and it does really calm you down as well.
Breathing's the most important. Is breathing the most important part for singing? Both singers. Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's no way you're hitting them big notes without having the right breathing technique.
It's a high note in my life. I'd have to be breathing for about 3 hours before I hit that note. Do you know what I mean? But I'll get a balloon and then try and. Oh no! I suppose it's like with guitar as well. Technique makes you better. Play the instrument better. Singing, obviously, you teach it, Sam, as well. Breathing. Is that the hardest thing to teach?
It is actually like diaphragmatic breathing. The way that you stand affects how you sing. Like, the 5 points: your feet, your knees, your hips, your stomach and your soul. Yeah, like your knees are included in that. The 5 points, creating the line, the thinking through, breathing through. There's so many different aspects of your posture to even get right before I would even consider going to breathing. Obviously for the stress and release, breathing's fantastic, but it's having that right alignment first before you can even place the note and having the breath come through. So I'd probably spend, if I was having a one-to-one lesson with you, Chris, I'd probably spend I'd spend probably about 2 or 3 lessons just getting you in the right position before then experimenting with the voice. So there you go.
Go on, what kind of lessons are you gonna give me? You're gonna try postures and then
and this is why I would never give you a lesson. Never, ever.
I reckon I'd like a singing lesson off you, Sam. I
could get I reckon. I've seen the video of you singing at one of your charity evenings, and you've got a little good voice on you.
Well, thank you very much. Depends what kind of kecks I'm wearing.
Just not them double jeans tonight. Not them denim jeans. So have you recorded anything, Vicky, with the choir? Obviously, so you've got all these different separate voices. Have you had the opportunity to record anything and put something together?
See, Sefton Council recorded something because they were doing a presentation and it was all about giving thanks. So Sefton Council have done a little recording, which was lovely. But to be honest, it's just about feeling good. It's like no pressure. Like, we're not taking it seriously. It's just about having fun, wearing different props for
fab.
So yeah, just feeling good and like no pressure.
And you talked to...
And how long did they last for? Come on, how long did they last for?
So they last for an hour. So we do a little warm-up, belt out a few songs, and then just have a nice relaxation at the end.
Oh, I love that. Nice little meditation at the end.
Yeah. And just like a little feel-good poem, like, go girl, you know?
I do love a good affirmation. I do like a good affirmation.
Yeah. How about being positive in this crazy world at the moment?
Yeah, I think because everyone's on screen now, it's good to see people doing things. My mum's started doing she used to love the yoga, going to the yoga every week. She's in her 70s. She loved going to yoga, and obviously it's all stopped. So she's doing it on screen now, and she's doing her exercises, she was telling me yesterday, on screen. So it's getting people doing things still, because it must be so easy just to sit there and, as you say, the mental health side of things is so important.
No, it really isn't. And I know for myself, last year in the lockdown, exercise was so important to get that into my daily routine. Otherwise, I'm like, and before stuck in the house with me, like, is that go, do you go? Yeah.
It was hard work, wasn't it? That first lockdown, because me and Sam were filming. Was it a couple of days before, Sam?
Yeah.
I can't remember now.
I think it was
We
the
were
Sunday
filming a pro,
or the Thursday, and we were in lockdown Monday. Yeah.
and we said, oh, we knew it was coming. You could feel it was coming. We thought, 5 weeks, we'll be all right. And then look at us now.
It was a prolonged holiday. We all thought, nice 5 weeks off, get furloughed, happy days. We'll be back in no time. We all did.
And look at us now, still on screen. But it's different because, as I say, we'd never done anything like this before, and we'd never even thought of doing anything on screen. So it's getting people to get the confidence, probably, just to say, come on, let's just do it. Do you know what I mean?
You're so right, because I've even dragged my husband into the on-screen, online world now, because every Friday night, he's an amazing mixologist. He's amazing chef. When I met him, I put on 1.5 stones because his food was that good. And it's 11 years on, I still haven't shifted it, but we're very happy. But he's an amazing mixologist. So every Friday night now, we've been just doing a cocktail class, and I've been doing a Facebook Live. So if you want to join us on Facebook, tune in, Cocktails and Mixtapes. So I just sing a few songs. He makes a couple of cocktails. Last week I got very drunk.
That's what we like to hear.
Yeah, the songs at the end, I was like, so it was a really fun night, and I think people are just missing the socialising and, going out, having a cocktail and having a singing and having a dance. That's what personally, that's what I'm missing. And so it's just nice. And then people can type in a little message, any questions they've got about cocktails, they can ask them. So I'm pimping them out everywhere. If anyone's celebrations, they want a private cocktail lesson, get in touch. We'll do a little Zoom cocktail lesson.
I'll link on, obviously, to your live as well, which is so. Do you have a set list for this, or do people request songs, or what? Do you have a set?
Yeah, it's never a set list. I have kind of a rough idea, and I'd be like, any requests?
Okay, so
casual.
Yeah, and these cocktails, are they ones he's made himself? Has he derived these cocktails, or are they all the classic cocktails?
So what we do at the beginning of the week, we give you a list of recipes, but we're trying to get it so there's 3 ingredients per drink, so it's super cheap. Try and use stuff that you've got in the back of your cupboard. If you've got a bottle of Passoa and you're like, what am I going to do with this? We can teach you a cocktail. So that's what we've been doing. So your ingredients at the beginning of the week, and then we make it on Friday. But he's also a genius with cocktails, and he's been using a clarifying technique. So what it is, it's a way of distilling the cocktails. You put them through milk, and that gets rid of all the impurities. So you've got a crystal clear, enhanced flavored cocktail, and we've been selling them. So they were flying out before Christmas, which was fantastic because they make lovely gifts, and we've got a lovely Valentine's Day package available at the moment.
Amazing. So Valentine's Day is coming up. Are you going to do a Valentine's special show?
Of course. We're going to feel the romance in our house.
What kind of cocktails does he do? Has he made these up, or, as I say, are they the classic? Well, what's the best cocktail you've had, Sam?
Best cocktail? Ooh.
Long Island iced tea.
Ooh, I do.
That's a booze.
Yeah. Is that a what? That's a good one.
A booze.
A boozy one.
It's strong. It's very strong.
Oh, yeah.
I like an old fashioned.
That's what
That's my husband's favourite. He loves an old fashioned.
Little tweel of orange peel. Just on there. I like that.
Last week, he made gimlet, which is a classic gin cocktail, and he made a bramble as well. Now, I love a bramble. That's one of my favourites.
What's in that, Alan?
Creme de menthe and gin. So it's like a blackcurrant gin cocktail. It's like, so easy to drink. This is why I was so drunk at the end of the night.
So you just sing, and he just gives you the cocktail. This is what happens.
Yes, and then the dog makes an appearance. Well,
we should do, Sam. We should try and make one of these cocktails and have it on the next week's podcast.
That is a fantastic idea. I love that.
Should we take one years from Friday's show then, and we'll try and make our own cocktail for the.
I love it. We need a SCE Live cocktail. That's what we need.
Ooh, have you said this is a challenge for him now?
I think we should. Yeah.
Okay, so you like an old fashioned, you like a Long Island iced tea.
Yep.
Yeah.
So like a orangey whiskey sort of, I don't know.
4 weeks, so I'll have one sip and be on the floor.
The end of the night. I tell you what it does do. This is what we sell. One of the bottles we sell is a New York sour, and that is whiskey, but with an egg white, to make it a sour, and then it's topped with red wine. Ooh. Now it sounds a bit like but it is beautiful. It's really good. So a New York sour, I think, is it both like that?
Ooh.
Well, we do like a bit of New York, don't we, Sam? So
we've been to New York on this podcast, haven't we?
We've been twice. We get around.
We get around.
We do get around.
Chris and I, we do. Yeah, I think that's a brilliant idea. I think what we'll do is we'll film it and send it in, so you can see it. That'll be brilliant. I can't wait.
Well, we just rum this week.
Rum.
Do you like your rum?
I like rum. Yeah, dark rum. Love it. Dark rum.
Fabulous. It's rum this week, so tune in and you'll get shaken in your kitchen. I don't know where you are.
I'll be shaking on the floor after no alcohol for 4 weeks.
Listen, there's no excuses now. It's February. You've got no excuses now.
Yeah, I've got
fabulous
no excuses.
February.
Do you know what? The first few days was quite tough. You think, it's been a long day. Even in the house, and you're doing what it's been like, and then I haven't really missed it. Chocolate I did for the first week though. Oh my god, that was hard work.
I couldn't do chocolate. I think chocolate. No, I'm sorry. I love chocolate too much.
Yeah.
So as a mixer, obviously you're Hassan, isn't it? Hassan. He's mixologist.
You got that one.
Get that one right. Get that one right. Can you tell I searched that one before the podcast started? Quickly Google. Well, obviously, Chris, you've done a whole month without drinking alcohol, and if you wanted to continue, not drinking alcohol, does he do non-alcohol versions of these cocktails?
Alcoholic.
He can mock them up.
Oh yeah.
Do you like that?
I like that. That was clever.
He can mock up a mocktail. Yes, he could make a mocktail. If you want to throw that in the mix on Friday, we could do that.
Yeah, I was just saying, obviously, not everyone's going to be a drinker of alcohol. When you're doing these, I don't know if is it 3 you do, 3 or 4 cocktails a week, or just the one?
We do two cocktails. That's all I'm
allowed. I was going to say 3 or 4. Yeah, maybe for a youngster like me. But obviously there's mocktail versions. Have you done just a solid mocktail as the drink?
We haven't yet, but I like the challenge. Yeah. Yes.
Maybe for Chris, if Chris, you want to know.
What is apart from a cocktail? What is your favourite drink, Vic?
I love Elliot. No,
Everything.
No, do you know what? I love a Bellini. Just a nice champagne or prosecco with a little fruity bit in.
Oh, Sam, what's yours?
Yeah, old fashioned. Yeah, if I'm.
He's a pint. He's a pint of stout. You're a pint of stout.
Yeah, I like Guinness, don't I? Guinness, Hop House, anything like that. Love it. And then get on the cocktails later.
I'm a spice rum and coke drinker.
Yes, I love. Did you ever have a dark and stormy?
No.
Oh, you would love that.
Oh, I get on that. Might get on
And
that.
because it's ginger ale, if you start to feel a bit, the ginger ale sorts you out.
Wow.
Well, I might have. That's
I
what we need. I've been on a bottle now for a while called, not literally like I'm not that bad, but I've been on a bottle called Red Leg rum.
We've got that in ours. Really nice.
It's really nice. That can just like, at one point we were doing the build and all that. It was when you do your weekly shop, it would be milk, bread, Red Leg, and then you'd go through a bottle a week. Oh, it's just no wonder. Bottle a week, Red Leg. Not good, that is it.
No. Used to be Kraken for me. Kraken was I love Kraken.
Yeah.
But
Kraken was good.
we find that we're coming home with gin more often now. Pink gins, the frozen berries, obviously the bloom glasses. Love gin, and to be not the tonic though. I don't know if that's a sin. We're more of a lemonade.
Do you know what I think? It's a Scouse thing. People love gin and lemonade. I think because Scousers have a real sweet tooth. Where down south, it's more about the soda. They have a gin and soda. We've got more of a dry appetite down south.
Someone from down south who has a gin and soda, obviously, and then they kind of just go onto the soda, so it looks like they're still drinking, but yeah, they're not. So then, they slope off.
That is good. That's good tactic. But I think you always drink with your eyes, don't you? When you see someone with a big gin balloon and it's got all the fancy bits in, you're like, "Ooh, I want one of them."
We miss going out for a gin, don't we?
Yeah.
It's the sun, just being in a beer garden and just watching the football, the Euros, the World Cup. Yeah, I miss it.
And speaking of a Liverpool drink, obviously gin lemonade, you are known as the Liver Bird.
I am.
Yeah. So, it's all come from. Where did the Cilla thing come from?
Well, I was a Kylie tribute for years, and I love Kylie. But I thought if I've got to sing I Should Be So Lucky one more time, I'll be like, So I thought, you know what? I love 60s music, love the 60s. And it was when I was working at the Green Room quite a lot. And I put it to them, I was like, look, I've put together this 60s show. Can I do it at the Green Room? And they were like, yes, of course, let's get it on. So I started doing all my 60s songs and I loved it, and I threw in a bit of Cilla. And at the time I had short red hair and everyone was like, oh, it's Cilla. You need to do it. And I was like, of course. So I started doing the Cilla tribute, and then as awful as it sounds, she passed away. So it kind of just blew up, the Cilla tribute, because, you know, she died. So I don't know if we're keeping that in.
Keep it in.
We'll keep that in.
It's relevant.
Because when she died, she was buried. Well, the funeral was up by mine in Walton. Oh, it was shocker. It was rammed, Walton Village, on the funeral, and they blocked all the road off. I was actually on the front of the paper next to the car. I'll send you that. Not leaning on the car. I wasn't driving it as well. But I was on the front of the Express, I think it was, next to the car.
But I think when she passed away, that reminded everybody that she was a phenomenal singer. Like, the songs are so beautiful. Because, I mean, I'm a child of the 80s. And
we are
I'm a child of the 80s, and everyone knew Cilla as like a TV presenter. You know, she was on Blind Date, Surprise, Surprise. And I think everyone just saw her as like, oh yeah, the woman off the telly who does those Saturday night shows. But then when you see a back catalogue of songs, like, I was blown away. And then, you know, singing Alfie is one of the hardest songs I've ever had to sing. It's really difficult.
But, yeah, and the thing with Cilla, I think people forget that, you're right, because she was Blind Date. Saturday night, you just watch Blind Date, and then you forget she was right through from the Beatles get going. She worked in the Cavern, didn't she? And obviously worked her way on the circuits from like Did she take the coats in the cabin? Do you know the history of it?
Yeah, she was the
cloak,
coach.
the cloakroom woman, and then obviously she age, and then became this sort of involved with the Mersey Beat era, and then became famous. It's mad, isn't it? And that's the story of it, really, where you can come from nothing to be one of the most famous people in the world.
It is like a real rags to riches story, and I think that's what appeals to a lot of people. You know, especially up and down the country. And I know she was known as a bit of a diva, but everyone that is a fan of Cilla has said she was so lovely. So I think she could be a diva with people in the industry, but I think she was always lovely to her fans.
Yeah. Have you ever sung the song she sung at Surprise Surprise at our live show? When she was reaching out, holding hands.
Oh, yeah, that's like one of the finale songs in the show. It? Yeah, because they did a theatre tour. Do you know what? It was like 5 years ago this month that I started doing the Cilla theatre tour. And at the very end, we did, the last song was Surprise, Surprise. And then I go off, costume change, come back on, beautiful gown. And for You're My World, that was the big finale song.
And that, what is the hardest? I'll just say, what was the other one you said was the hardest song to sing by?
Definitely Alfie, because that's one of their back songs. And even like when I was doing the ships, I'd have to take me dots with me, you know, me chart music, and that song and Anyone Who Had a Heart, all the musicians were like, oh, because there's so many the time signature changes throughout the song, so they're really difficult. They are difficult songs.
Yeah, because I think last time we did anything, were we at the Epstein together? I can't remember the last show we did together. I think we were at the Epstein, weren't we?
Yeah.
We did the Epstein together, and it was. Did you do a Cilla on that one? The crowd, whatever it was, the crowd were in your hands because it was the right age group for a 60s show, wasn't it?
And I love performing to that age group because I think they were of an age where they really appreciate performers on stage. And, you know, even like they used to go to social clubs of a Saturday night and everyone's very formal and they'd sit for your first spot, they'd sit and clap, like no one would dance in your face. You know, and they're very respectful of artists, I think, that generation.
Yes, it was. Yeah, they always put on a good show at the Epstein, and the audience hopefully are all vaccinated soon, and we can get back out there.
Listen, that would be the dream, wouldn't it?
Well, it happens. But when you were growing up watching Cilla on Blind Date and stuff like that, did you ever think I'll be replicating all their songs one?
No, not at all. Not at all. It is crazy. I mean, I didn't even know she was a singer when I used to watch it as a kid.
Remember Blind Date, Sam? You're a bit young. Do you remember Blind Date?
I am.
It was brilliant.
Obviously, reruns on Challenge TV. In my nan and granddad's, it'd be on. And I remember seeing it on there. But yeah, that you wouldn't, well, for me as a 25-year-old, wouldn't really know that Cilla was a singer until obviously learning about, you know, the Beatles and Liverpool music, and, you know, like you said, they're being in the cloakroom collecting the tickets and taking the money for people coming in, and she becomes this, you know, superstar. Yeah, it's crazy.
I always remember on Blind Date that episode where the woman was a journalist or something. Do you remember that one?
Good.
And she just outed it and said, "You work for so-and-so," and she just like, "Oh, yeah." Do you remember it?
She said, now, the sad thing is, you've stopped somebody else finding love.
Oh.
Else, and it was really like, it was kind of like saying, I'm not mad, I'm just really disappointed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
That was a cracker. I remember that. Saturday night it used to be, in the afternoon, you'd have Baywatch, Knight Rider, and then the Gladiators, and then Blind Date. That was your Saturday night every week.
Chippy tea with a chippy tea.
Yeah. And then you'd get bored then when Casualty came on. And then on the other channel, you flick over. By that time, I would do my mixtapes up in my bedroom by Casualty.
It's like,
but that was the Saturday night. And then, obviously, she came on Sunday night, and your mum would be crying with surprise. And then you'd reel in your mixtapes. Oh, I can't be doing with this.
Do you know one of the stories I do like about Cilla? Because her mum had a market stall, didn't she? Paddy's Market, and she had a stall, and some of the coats used to go missing.
Oh, nice! Yeah,
and they turn up on her mother's stall.
That's what it is, isn't it? That's a Liverpool thing. That
you've got to hustle. You got to love the hustle.
But she's up in Springwood ways, I think. And I don't know if the grave is you can go and see it. I don't know if it's sectioned off or anything like that. But yeah, it was a funny day, that funeral, because it was absolutely rammed. The village shut off cameras, news. It was just mental. And then all they brought all like the people up, like I think Ringo may have turned up. I can't remember, but like Jerry Marsden was flying past, and you had all, and then it brought coaches up. But yeah, it was absolutely chocker, and I think that shows that not everyone loves Cilla, and we obviously know that, but a lot of people did, and it showed when there were amount of people who wanted to just pay their respects as she came past in the funeral car. It was a very sad day, but then it shows you what influence she had on the city and the music scene.
Yeah.
Especially with these artists starting to get older. We lost Jerry Marsden a couple of weeks ago. It's important that all these artists from Liverpool are celebrated in their lives, because the achievements they have made in the history of music is unbelievable. It shows it.
Totally. I always say I was born in the right place at the wrong time.
I mean, it's one thing that I always think about is that obviously these decades of music, are gonna. Well, I think they're gonna be here forever. But are they gonna be here forever? That's something that I want to ask you. Are they gonna be like this? Obviously, these decades of music, these 60s, these people that lived during that time are. Getting to an age now where they're probably not going to be in the next 5-10 years. But sorry, Nan and Grandad. But it's true. So, do you think that music is going to live on? Obviously, it's going to be around, but I mean, are people going to still be listening to this sort of music in 5, 10, 15, 20 years' time?
Well, I think there's always like the 20-year thing, isn't there? Everything comes back, because right now the fashion and music is very 80s, 90s inspired. And when I was younger, everything in the 80s, thank you very much, Chris, you're a good example. You're so vintage.
Double denim, Chris.
But I think the difference is, going back to like the late 1800s, you know what I mean? Nothing was getting recorded. There were no live performances. But I think now with YouTube, and because everything's been recorded, I think that it still will remain. And I know that there's a lot of people that are fascinated with the 1940s. There's always a niche market, especially like the burlesque scene. They really hone in on the 1940s and that jazz era. And I think there's always going to be a place for amazing music, because it's undeniable. You can't forget the talent and the rawness. I love the rawness of everything that was recorded in the 60s, because it's just got that sound that's like, you just feel it, don't you?
I listen to that kind of music, 60s, 70s, more then you'll listen to the music that's recorded now in the next 30 years.
I think so as well.
I honestly do. The music now is forgettable, but the music then isn't.
But I think the music industry is very different now, isn't it? it's just overproduced and
fast. It's just quick.
uh,
I know when you work in studios now, it's so fast. I kind of lose the creative thing of the creative input in the studio. It's like, oh, it's done it for you. Do you know what I mean? Apart from, and when, oh, well, let's try and replicate it now. It's just, we'll do it digitally for you now. It's done.
yeah,
It's done.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So,
have you ever tried writing stuff, Vicky? You ever tried writing your own stuff?
Do you know what? I used to live in France, and at the time I was working for Disney. I was over in Disneyland, and I was doing a lot of TV work as well. And I got approached by a producer and asked me to write. And I wrote a couple of songs, but I just feel like it's someone reading me diary. I'm like, oh.
But they're the best songs, though.
Oh. I feel like I'm exposing myself too much. I'm like, nah.
I'm the same as you, Vic. That's why I've stopped writing now, and I play other people's songs.
Yeah.
You could be one of those secret ghostwriters, and they would never know.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Just like, who wrote this crap?
No.
I know it's all.
I had 3 cocktails when I wrote this crap.
Oh.
But that's what it's all about. I think it's just being creative, and I think sometimes you've got to get over that little hill of writing songs. I say this to when I'm doing GCSE music with the kids. I'd say just say what you're thinking. And they're like, well, I've never experienced life. I've never experienced love. And I say, well, you don't want to experience that, because then you'll have the most depressing songs. So just write what's in your head. Just go for it. And most of them get it. Do you know what I mean? It's what it's all about.
Exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to the end of this podcast for this evening, but we might as well ask Vicky, where's the best place to follow the mixology and the mixtapes, and also you as a tribute and everything that you have got to look forward to in the next coming months?
So you can find our Instagram page, which is Cocktails and Mixtapes. We have an events page on Facebook called Cocktails and Mixtapes. And also I've got my Live a Bird page, Live a Bird Sings. No, Live a Bird Sings.
We'll tag everything in the bottom.
We'll do it for you. And I have a cocktail on the go. And where can people find us, Sam?
They can find us everywhere. They can find us absolutely everywhere. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. And the easiest way for you to find us now, Chris, are you ready for this? Are you ready? It's just to simply search for SCE Live. That's it. SCE Live. We've streamlined. There's no picture comes up. Just SCE Live and we'll come up. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Who would have thought we'd have a YouTube channel? Vicky, you're going to be on YouTube. We're also on Spotify, so you can listen to this podcast on the train. You can download it and, listen to it at your heart's content. What else are we, Chris? We're on Twitter. I've mentioned everywhere that we're on, so make sure that you do go and follow us. Go and follow us at SCE Live. Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for this evening, for tuning in. Like I said, make sure you do follow us on all of our Twitters. To our podcast guest for this evening, Vicky Jones.
Hey!
Thank you so much, Vicky. And Chris, another podcast done?
Podcast done.
And that's it. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and as always, make sure you stay safe out there. Until next week, we'll have another fantastic guest, and make sure I get their name right next week. Good night and God bless. Bye bye.